Revenge is a dish best served cold.
And I will have mine,
said the old hag to herself. The brew was hot though, boiling.
They will all regret what they did to me.
She had turned her kitchen into a laboratory, collecting all sorts of strange ingredients from the old forest, and one young man to see what she really was capable of. He was no one in particular. He had been wandering about in the old mushroom forest, her home that was. It had been an easy task to take him out. He got a bit surprised, and even if she looked skinny, her potions had over the years made her both stronger and faster than a normal human. Once they had called her hag, witch, sorcerer, shatrag, and other things in different languages. But she wouldn't cave in that easily. No, not her. She knew everything they said was false. If she only had known more things back in those days, then maybe the sick child would still be alive. It wasn't her fault that the baby died. The mother was weak and the child so frail. Without her, it was going to die anyway. But they only gave her the blame. She couldn't ignore them. She couldn't endure them. The flames from her past still burned bright. How she almost got tied to a pole and burned to ash. Instead she ran from the town with pitchforks and axe close at her back. She was now forced to live in this old bare cave. She had lived in it for years, hating every second of it. What was worse was that they had won. It couldn't end like this. She wouldn't have it. She would give them a witch, a real witch. How she studied the art of potion and animals, trying to understand transfiguration and body. They shall become frogs, she thought. And after years of studies, it was time for practice, with a real test subject. The young man was stripped naked and tied to a big root. They had big roots coming out everywhere in this big mud hole. He could only sit there and await what was to come. And yes, soon, very soon, he would feel the true power of potion making, an art that can heal and help people in need. However, no one wanted that. She would turn him into a frog, or try at the very least. And if she succeeded, she would make more of this brew and spread it in that cursed town that so deserved it. He was young, maybe 17 or past 20s, hard to tell. He might have been born the day she was forced to flee. Didn't care, he was getting it tonight. She filled a cup with the fine stuff, the main ingredients, boiled tadpole. She had also added in a variety of magic herbs and mushrooms, but also some chestnuts. It was all going down the throat. He was choking, begging for mercy. Why? Didn't matter anymore. Everything was too late. I just want to go home. So do I, she thought. She never answered him. That would have been a waste of time. She hadn't talked to anyone for 20 years and forgot the concept of a conversation. Maybe the brew needed something extra. She grabbed a live toad from one of her cages and brought it to the boy. No more, no more, he tried, but she forced the thing down his throat. Didn't bite. He swallowed it alive. He coughed, and everything was about to come back up. But the old hag closed his mouth with a strong grip and forced her long sharp nails into his cheeks, forcing it back down as he swallowed. He was now drooling and made strange disturbing sounds. The aim wasn't to kill him, only to make him into a small, ugly, mindless toad. How hard could that be? But he did look gone, eyes wide open like he was staring into an abyss. He just sat there while his saliva ran from his lips, not moving a limb. Too much mushrooms, maybe. The mix might not be perfect. Maybe no chestnuts next time. He was alive, so she would keep him and try once more another time. You seldom stumble upon someone in this part of the forest. So she sat guard, watching and waiting for something. She poured up some of her favorite pine needle tea. An horrible idea. That stuff always made her sleepy. But the boy only sat still and lifeless. And while the hours flew by, the old lady simply fell asleep. As her eyelid came down, she could see the fire from her old house. She remembered how she had been running for her life from town. As the sustenance came to the intestines, the body started to take up its essence. You become what you eat. Food makes you grow tall and strong. But this was nutrients with the essence to twist and change you. So he grew bigger and stranger. His mass and structure changed more than the rope could handle. He started to take up more space and push things away in all directions. A hard and rough skin he now had. As his limbs smashed into the small cauldron compared to him, it flung away with hard, heavy sounds.
What? What was that?
A voice he could definitely recognize from the corners of night. The last thing he remembers was something alive gliding down his throat, and the old woman forcing it down. She had a hard and angry look about her, like someone that wanted something more than anything. The taste had been strange. What had he eaten? It was pitch black dark and he couldn't see anything. Then a small candle illuminated the cave. She sat there in her bed with a candle in hand. Her face, it was no longer angry or hard. The face was afraid, and she tried to cover herself with her hands. "What have you done to me?" But the sentence wasn't said. He would never make a sentence again. Instead, he lashed out his big long tongue. The woman was so small and light, so easily pulled towards his mouth. Didn't bite. He swallowed it alive.